Hey guys, Luna here, and we're here with Friendsim 2. I recommend, if you have not seen original Friendsim, Past Quest, or Hive Swap, checking out those games as, well, because they actually recommend story beats. I actually recommend the order. Give me a second. First things first. So let me just go through everything so you guys can kind of get it, but recommend checking those games out first that I recorded. And this game, if I can remember where I found it originally, this game actually says which order to view them in. And Friendsim 2 generally contains, just as a general content warning, that there's violence, death, discussions of imperialism, colonism, language, and suggestive themes. And some suggestive themes in each of the volumes is that in the prologue there's existential identity crisis, unreality, gaslighting, route has action consequences, depiction of blood, a depiction of death, a depiction of a dead body, discussion of institutional violence, route has action consequences. Volume 2 has depiction and discussion of state institutional violence, obviously actions, depiction and discussion of state interracial violence, depiction and discussion of death, depiction of drug use, depiction and discussion of state violence, depiction and discussion of death, depiction of blood, depiction of torture. I don't know how far I'm going to get in this, but depiction of discussion of alcohol and drug use, discussion of sex and sexuality, some sexual suggestive languages, and discussions of genetics. Sexually suggestive content and language, depiction and discussion of gaslighting and abuse, depiction and discussion of alcohol and drug use. So, just general things. But, yeah, so previously on Friendsim, our story begins on Altaria, uncertain of your history or identity and badly injured from the crash. You embark on your quest to fill your insatiable urge to befriend everyone you meet. Throughout your journey, you learn more and more about the world around you, the trolls that inhabit it, and the empire that rules over everything. Your befriending adventure takes you from the most mundane of low bloods, Docimas, to the most esteemed heights of high blood society. Your quest to befriend everyone is never truly finished, but until finally it's over. Faced with the choice of understanding, you choose to venture once more into the remote field and step through a plane of existence, meeting face to face with the being who oversees Altaria, Doc Scratch. Suddenly relieved of your urge to befriend everyone, you are told that your entire journey and your interactions with every friend you had was in search of a larger goal. Your whole being has been upsurged by Scratch that facilitate the creation of the conditions required for future events, and so you are urged to seek out answers of your own. Pester quests. Having read Homestuck and the epilogues and found the ending satisfactory, you finally decide to confront Doc Scratch and force him to give you the answers you seek, only to find yourself witnessing the moment right before Scratch's manor catches fire, running into the fenestrated plane to escape and hoping you find your Altarian friends once more in an unexpected place, and the treasure juju on the ground waiting for you. Touching the juju, you are thrown back to a series of encounters throughout the timeline of Homestuck, now endowed with the powers of time manipulation to make it your business to befriend the cast, and, one by one, pull them away from their original destiny. As you travel, you begin to understand the truth, that the trolls you first met on Altaria are now long dead, and the timeline's moved on. In the end, confronted once more by Doc Scratch and the physical embodiment of the narrative voice, you are forced to make a choice, to allow the destined events to come to pass, leaving everyone you met to endure their previous ordained suffering, but you chose a different path. Using the power of a green sun, you imbued yourself with the power of a first guardian. With this power, you create a locked timeline, a world where the future tragedies will never befall your friends, and they could finally live with a sense of peace. The world moves on. The universe that you created served its purpose, allowing your friends to live happy lives without the interference of outside narrative forces. But a sense of disquiet remains. What happens to your friend of Altaria all those tons of sweeps ago? And could you perhaps, with your newfound First Guardian powers, finally defy the whims of the timeline and rescue the ones you left behind from their fates? Finding yourself alone, you begin to begin to consider the alternatives. You do so, plan begins to form. So obviously there's a whole bunch of credits that you can check out if you have the game. I think this game's actually free. So yeah, so creative license and all that. So some options. There's just some of my options I've set up. So quirks will be enabled. There's screen shake. I did larger check size. Yeah, so this is going to display the content orange before the route is started, and then there is some advanced notice for contact warnings and stuff. There's obviously story beats and like each of the galleries and stuff. This is just some initial things that you have from playing the initial game of... God, I love this. I think this is just initial stuff that you get, or I think from playing the first game. So yeah, MSPA reader, friend-shaped entity, recently acquired vast cosmic powers beyond word comprehension, trying their best. Adorable. Honestly, where did I find... Yeah, so basically previously on, yeah, keyboard, mouse. Honestly, I don't remember, but basically I've recorded each of the games in the series, so just check them out. And yeah, so contains warnings for existential identity crisis, unreality, gaslighting, roundhouse action conscious. Player discretion is advised. So, were you expecting someone? I'm not sure it was. Not sure whenever your expectations have been tempered by time to the point where they've grown rigid and cold, inflexible. The worst part of every tragedy is the outcome. It's inevitable. The conclusion is foregone even before you read the first word on the page. But maybe this isn't a tragedy. Isn't it? So, I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you expecting someone? All around you, the void paradoxically presses... Oh, sorry, so V does the self-voicing. Cool. So I don't know what the previous one said. I didn't even get to finish reading it. I didn't even press enter or anything. You think that if you concentrate hard enough, you could probably perceive your physical form, the shape of your body that exists within the space between spaces that you found yourself within. Can't exactly remember why you're here. Can't remember how you got here or what exactly you were doing before. If you strain hard enough, you feel the trace of images on the edge of your mind. The warmth of a summer day, the sound of your friends joking with each other in the middle of the park, a blanket laid out, food served, a pleasant inside the constant sense of foreboding ease. How long have you felt this way? How long have you drifted in this void, wondering about the place you long once knew, about people that you abandoned? Names flash through your mind, specks of recognition, sensation of inevitability that clawed at you once, that took you away from them and forced you toward the singular goal. What happened to them once you left? Part of you, the part of you that clings to a sense of naive optimism with every fiber of your being, wonders if they lived a good life, able to find their place in the world through your intervention. Part of you knows that's a lie. Do you think that everything has to
Do you think that everything has to proceed according to some narrative plan?
I'm gonna turn that off for now.
Self-voicing disabled.
Well, of course. That's basically what's been guided you since the beginning of this journey. What makes you so sure that you know what plan is in the first place? The voice roars in the silence. The everything and nothing of existence reach out and pulls you away all at once, turning in on itself, an infinite loop that you could always and never see in its totality. Inside your mind are singular thoughts. Yeah, I can save. Go back. Made your decision? Of course you think to yourself, the decision was there all along because you never really had a choice in any of it. Not if you wanted to live the life with yourself afterwards anyway. The good news is that you're already coming up with a plan. An idea that will ensure that you don't have to worry about any of the messy details of the narrative involvement of whatever bullshit duck scratch going on in Ontario. You got the powers of the First Guardian now, powers that rival those of the very personification of the narrative. So this is a no-brainer. You'll just zap yourself back to Ontario, round up all of your old friends, and take them back with you to the locked timeline you've created for everyone. Live safely and happily for the rest of their natural lives, tucked away from the eyes of Ontario Terran Empire or whatever militant forces that could have controlled their fates. Besides, you know you get along great with your other friends. Dagora and Tezeri, just imagine the wacky hijinks they'll get up together. You focus, pulling your concentration into yourself and letting your thoughts sink in on themselves. The narrative folds around you like a paper crane, layers collapsing into layers into your own sense of self, that there's only one singular point of consciousness awareness. Finally, you can sense it. The other timeline out there, beyond the walls of the garden that you built for yourself and your friends, beyond the space and time as you normally understand them, out there in the narrative space where casualty still functions in a way that's all too familiar. No need to close your eyes because they are never open to begin with. Your mind turns sideways and you zap. Turn this on and see. You have no idea where you are.
Who the fuck?
Self-voicing
Who
enabled.
is out here now?
You have no idea where you are.
You turn, and standing in front of you...
You turn, and standing in front of you is a very large, very angry Konyokama. The anger isn't entirely a surprise.
Can I adjust?
Self-voicing disabled.
I want to do the self-voicing, because I want to hear the voices, but... What's up? Up the sound. Okay, that's a bit better. Okay. Default.
Self-voicing disabled.
No. Okay, seeing behind the scenes of just trying to... Oh, in the end, this is the... Anyways, I'll have to turn it off, and right before I'm about to finish and transition, I have to turn it back on again, I guess. You turn, and standing in front of you is a very large, very angry Konya Akama. The anger is entirely a surprise. Seems like one of her defining characteristics, generally speaking, but there's something raw about it that you weren't expecting.
Self-voicing enabled. You
begin to stammer out a greeting.
You begin to stammer out a greet.
The first bit of your whole speech about
Self-voicing disabled.
She said, speech about how she's definitely going to come back with you to a locked timeline far away from here and she can be safe.
Safe? What in the world are you talking about? What are you even doing here?
So their voices still say even if I don't have the voice on. Okay, good. Before you can actually answer any of these questions, another familiar face appears.
What are you doing here? You're taking a mighty big risk.
The country accent was right. You can explain that you aren't entirely sure where here is, but the first part is simple enough. You're here to help everyone stay safe. You don't know where whatever weird stuff is these two are up to, but you know that they're friends and you know that you care about them. Maybe it's been a couple days or so, but you don't worry. You're sure that maybe they're just really quickly. You can introduce them to some others, and Kanye is laughing at you.
You're serious? Why would I ever want to leave?
Because this planet sucks. Kanye laughs again and turns away.
Look, I think you need to go. It's not safe here.
Something in Skylar's voice is making you deeply, profoundly uncomfortable. You want to stay here and argue with these two to explain how good of a plan you have, and that's going to make both of them happier in the end. After all, you're all friends, right? Skylar just something hollow behind your eyes. Something haunted.
I think you should go.
How long was I gone? You're about to argue to let her know that you're not going to leave until you can make sure that she and when you hear something in the distance. A low rumbling noise. The noise of something large and heavy moving outside, grinding in the stony ground and rumbling closer and closer. Skylar leans in and her expression gets frantic.
You need to go! Now!
The intensity of you takes it by surprise, and without warning, you teleport. You close your eyes and zap. You open your eyes and you're standing in the office of some kind, but you're not alone. Off in the corner, hunched over a desk, is your old friend Tagora. You run over but stop dead in your tracks as Tagora quickly whips around and glares at you.
What the hell are you doing here?
He glances around as if looking for someone and takes a step closer. You can see fear in his eyes.
You need to get out. There's no amount of money in the Empire that'll make it worth the kind of heat you're going to bring in here.
You start to protest that you're not going to bring any heat from any other kind of... when you hear a loud knock at the door and freeze. From the other side of the door, you hear a familiar voice.
Gorgor, are you okay in there? I realize that our impending ceremony is still quite a ways off, but I need to go over some of the documents with you in detail. Also, I believe I heard some small commotion earlier. Are you sure that you are adequately prepared for today's festivities?
Oh, I'm fine, dear. Nothing to worry about at all. Just slipped a bit in here. You know how clumsy I can be.
Quickly shifts you aside and motions you to get out of his office. I wish you would pause to let me actually be able to read it. This time the world revolves quick around you, and in the distance you think you can still hear the sounds of Gallic and Tagora talking through a closed door. You can't have gone far this time, and you're noticing that you traveling in time either, which is, well, that's probably a good thing. It looks like you're in a bedroom or rest block of some kind. It appears that your old pal Taser is staring directly at you.
It's... you.
She doesn't seem happy to see you. You get ready to deliver your speech again to convince her that you can get her off this hell planet and safely away from the place where she won't have to worry about the Empire or Terra or anything else. But she isn't listening to you.
Where were you? You left. For sweeps. And now you just pop back in here like nothing has changed? Do you have any idea what it's been like while you were gone? Do you have any idea what we've all had to do?
You can hear the rising anger in her voice, and you back away, putting your hands up. Last you remember, Tezo was hanging out with Daria, and they were gonna work together to make Arteria a better place for everyone.
Are you serious right now?
You half-heartedly shrug. This told a lot less smoothly than you thought it was going to. In fact, you venture to say that it's been veering toward completely disaster, and you're not entirely sure how to change that.
Just go away.
But wait, no, you can't just go and leave her like this. This isn't even fixed. Just a quick zap and then round everyone else up and head back. No big deal.
I told you to go away.
She doesn't sound angry anymore, just tired. It sounds as if all of the energy she had expended in the moment, and she saw you, and now it's been replaced with a weariness that seeps down into her very soul. You hang your head, and once more you zap. Find yourself on a hill overlooking the outskirts of a city that looks eerily familiar. For a moment, you just stand there and take it all in. The lights of the twin moons shines down and scatters along the buildings. Hives, you suppose you should say, that dot the city. You begin to walk, drawn in by some kind of vague sense of purpose, the kind of half-formed thought that brought you along so many adventures the last time you visited this version of Arteria. Walking down the hill, you stumble half aware down a long winding street, a sense of looming familiarity that claws at you as you walk, reaching up and teasing at your heels, threatening to pull you down once more into the well of remembering. You're still a few dozen yards out when you recognize the shape at the end of the street, the once familiar, silhouetted, now overgrown with the creeping vines that snake up around it and out of everywhere. Your spaceship. It doesn't look like it's been touched in a while. The dread picks up at you again, and everything you do in your power to push it down, to ignore what Tezera said to you, to go back to the way things were not even an hour ago. Another thought pulls you at you, and this is when you can't shake. How long was I gone? Thought won't stop echoing around in your mind, bouncing off the sides and coming back again and again. How long has it been? What was that Tezera said to you that it's been sweeps? How many sweeps? How many years has it been? Doesn't make any sense to you. You do the same thing you've done countless times before, concentrated on the time and then the people you wanted to find, and then aimed yourself and zapped. By all rights, you should have arrived within days of the last time you're in Ontario. You feel the panic rising, air catching in your lungs as you trip backwards over your own feet, the breath rushing ragged in and out as you start to hyperventilate. You feel something out there, something far away but powerful, familiar. I might need to turn the volume down a little. Close your eyes. Huh? I think the volume's probably fine. I don't know. Even before you open them, you feel something that you haven't felt in a long time. Somehow you know what you're going to see when you open your eyes again. The unnatural green revolves itself before you open your eyes, swimming in and out of focus before finally snapping into place in front of you. You've been here before. So many times you've been here before. You've seen it, and I loved how it slowly got into focus. That was cool. You've seen it again and again, stood in this foyer and sat in the other room when the man who rules over this place told you to find your answers, ran from this place in desperate attempts to escape, and then you saw it and you...
Oh, my dear reader, you've been gone for a long time. I can't say that this intrusion is expected, but I suppose it is not necessarily unwelcome. After all, I still consider myself a most excellent host.
God, whoever this voice acted, that's just, I hate, just, A shiver runs up your spine. I didn't not actually, but it's definitely like, I don't like this. You turn to run, but your legs freeze under you. You can't tell if he's going to do something to you to prevent you from leaving, or if it's just a raw fear keeping you locked in place.
Oh, please. If I were the one doing that, rest assured that I would be far less subtle about it. I simply want to have a conversation. Why don't you have a seat?
Think, suddenly you're sitting on the vibrant green couch with a vaguely floral print on it. You're having trouble thinking, having trouble remembering why you're here in the first place.
So, why are you here? What errand has come up to draw this particularly intrusive rodent out from their hiding spot?
Well, that's easy. You wanted to come back here, get all your friends. You figured that since you have the powers of the First Guardian now, it'd be simple enough to just kind of hop in and take everyone back with you.
First Guardian, you say? Well, of course. How wonderfully droll a thing to consider. That the cog in my machine would one day be as critical a piece of their universe as I am of mine.
You're not sure how this comparison is actually a fair one. After all, you aren't using your friends as pieces in some kind of nth dimensional chess game.
Really? You think that absolves you of the consequences of your decisions?
You don't want to admit it, but this has you a little bit freaked out right now.
You have no reason to worry. After all, I never lie. And as such, I can say that your presence here is a mistake.
I mean, you sometimes lie by omission.
Why, you can't even begin to imagine the ripple effect it will have on this universe. The mere act of contacting your friends again could very well undo this world as we know it. Your friends could very well end up dead, simply because you chose to try to set them free. So I ask you, wouldn't it be better to simply not? To let your friends live out their lives under my watchful, nigh omniscient eye? I can promise that their lives will be no worse than they would have been had you remained in Alternia in the first place.
You start to snap back that you would never do such a thing. You can't leave your friends to simply exist on this hell of a planet. But then you start to wonder, maybe he has a point. No, you don't need to hear this. This is complete nonsense. Even if Scratch is planning some kind of long con with all of your Italian friends, you've already proven that you can make a stable world without any of this manipulative nonsense.
How can you say that when you haven't even heard me out?
Link can shake your head.
I'm sorry. Is my willingness to apply my not inconsiderable knowledge and wisdom to your specific situation not appreciated? I say, my dear reader, that is a most unconscionably rude thing to say to me. After all, I am so much more experienced at this than you are. What do you plan to do? To rush about from place to place, picking up your friends and taking them away to live in a fairy tale world of your own making? And what of the friends you leave behind?
John Jolt rolls up your back.
Are you going to leave them behind to my whims? Do you truly think you can live with yourself afterwards? Or maybe you think you can help them right here on Alternia?
Glare at Scratch. You're still not sure what you could actually do to him in any material sense of the word, but the anger is seething inside you. This kind of smug bastard thinks he can talk down to you like a little kid. Scratch shrugs, pressing his fingers to what would be his temple if he had more conventional anatomy.
That would certainly be a treat, to see them dash themselves on the rocks of martyrdom and self-sacrifice. For what? For the vague promise that maybe Alternia might get better one day?
You keep glaring at Scratch as you look at him. An idea begins to form in your minds. Hey, so if he's so smart, how come he wasn't expecting this? The way you see it, you're here to say, and you got two options. Either you save your friends, or you give them a way to fight back. Save everyone.
You fool. You completely irrational, pandering fool. Do you have any idea how stupid you sound right now?
Probably not significantly more than usual, so...
Oh, shut up, you ungrateful pile of detritus. You've lost any right to speak on this or any other matters of importance.
Well, that's a pretty mean thing to say to you. Honestly, you're feeling you're pretty worn out, you're welcome already, and you should probably be on your way. Scratch shifts in his weight before beginning to notice that he's closer to you than he was before.
I'm afraid that I can't let you continue to meddle. Before, you were simply being bothersome, but now you've crossed a certain threshold into the realm of the truly infuriating.
Yeah, no, this is probably... And of course, I get hit smack in the head. Cypher Space Jade, oh, you're here! You struggle with the bleary, disconnected feeling that threatens to overwhelm you and stare directly at the figure in front of you. Where are you? It's not the first time you've talked. It probably won't be the last. The figure turns to you and smiles. You don't know how this can tell she's smiling. You don't even know how you can tell that it's she and not some abstract entity. You shouldn't worry about it. Got a long road ahead in front of you. Getting too worked about the details is... She shrugs. You think that she shrugs. But then you can see her expression soften. Sense her expression soften. You're feeling lightheaded, confused. I know it probably sounds cliche. You've got a destiny to fulfill. Not one that's sent so just yet, but it's not a destiny that involves dying at the hands of Doc Scratch. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Just keep one thing in mind. This time, churches might not mean much, but that won't always be true. A single kind word can save a life. A single whisper of defiance can start a revolution. Scratch shifts his weight and you begin to notice that he's closer than he was before. You know what's about to happen. You don't know how. You don't know how, but you know exactly what's about to happen. You quickly roll to the side, and Scratch strikes ineffectively. He hits Krauts. A little spark of green flies out from the crowbar, and you realize that this isn't just an ordinary crowbar.
You're not playing fair, are you? They're helping you.
I have no idea what the heck he's talking about. You make it clear to Scratch that you have no idea what the heck he's talking about. You mostly just want to stop him from trying to kill you. You try and zap away, but something keeps you held down, a force that presses in and
If you'll just hold still, this will be over as quick as you can blink. You won't even know what hit you.
Oh, I just love how there's like the shadow forming on the top of his orb skull thing. Yeah, you know.
You are becoming extremely annoying.
That's the first time you've heard it, and if you have anything to say about it, then it won't be the last. You roll sideways and jump to your feet, just ready to scramble away. You have no idea where you go once you get out of the mansion, but getting out and away from the crowbar-wielding maniac is a bit higher priority at the moment.
If you could just hold still, this would be significantly less onerous to both of us.
Yeah, you're not doing that. You jump back over the couch, then run down the side, headed for the door. Just about 30 feet or so down the hallway. Basically nothing, and you just... Crowbar clips your leg, and you are sent sprawling headfirst along the floor, sliding to an awkward and painful stop up against the side of the old-timey television cabinet that is, for some reason, just kind of hanging there.
Now, my dear reader, it is time for this ridiculous charade to end.
Can't let this happen. Not now. Not when you haven't even had the chance to figure out what the hell is going on with your friends. Pain is shooting up your leg, and it feels like it's turned into a feud and spurring straight up toward your base of your spine. You can already feel your powers draining away. You think you know why that crowbar looks familiar. Doc Scratch advances on you, heaving the chunk of crimson metal above his head. You got one chance here, one opportunity to pull everything together. Get the hell out of here. With that last ounce of energy you have, reach down inside yourself and grasp the last shred of your powers. And for one time, the final time, you zap. All around you, the void paradoxically presses around you and expands indefinitely beyond you in every single direction. You are, at once, enveloped by it and completely free of it. Yeah, this is familiar. Find yourself sailing through the space between the atoms themselves, and you suppose this is how you always felt, but you were never so keenly aware of it, like being in a car that's about to run out of gas, sputtering and coasting to a stop on a busy highway. The energy is starting to get away from you, and you can feel yourself slipping, falling back into reality. Well, at least you aren't dead.
What in the hell are you doing back here?
Take her, your old friend. It would definitely be really awesome if you could just stay right now and not go run off and tell anyone that you're here. Mostly on account if you don't think you could leave anymore.
That's it. I'm telling Gallic you're back.
Oh, fuck. Any chance you could maybe convince him not to tell Gallic? At least not right away? You're really just trying to help him out here and get everyone away from this hellhole and safely into a locked timeline. Also, are you on a spaceship right now?
Yes, we're on a spaceship. I don't know what a locked timeline is, but... What did you say about leaving this hellhole?
Oh yeah, the thing you literally just said. Well, you think you can probably round up everyone and pop over to a nice place so you can meet for everyone. A safe, distinctively not deterring place.
What? I thought you just found something more profitable to do. You know, you being on the Empire's watch list now and everything. It's been 2 sweeps. Honestly, I thought I killed you.
4 to 6 years. 4 to 6 years, I think. Wait, what? Give Tagore your most rewarding smile, not along. Of course, 2 sweeps. Very cool, fine, and normal. Everything's fine and normal. See, hypothetically, he might need some time on this, but Tagore eyes you suspiciously, but he might be able to help Tagore get away from Ateria entirely. Gallic, too, if that's a thing he actually wants. You're still working on understanding how the whole chemist thing works.
Fine. I'm listening.
Prologue, how the time passes. Oh. I did it. Yes. Show us salvation in the prologue. You got this. I did it. That was the prologue. I'm gonna go back. Made your decision. Of course you think to yourself, decision was there all along because you never really had a choice in any of it. Oh, what was the scrack that told you over the years or days or hours or minutes ago? Actions facilitate your future events that witness your necessary intervention, help you create the material conditions necessary for the ultimate destiny for everyone you knew. Without you, none of it would have happened the way it was supposed to. If you are trying to return now, to use the powers you gained to try and manipulate the flow of the very narrative that brought you to this point, consequences would be so dire that you don't think it's within your capacity to predict the outcome. So your mind's made up? Yes, you don't like it, but you recognize you have to come to terms with a few things. Over the years, to recognize that your youth or idealism will always inevitably give way to this cynicism of the real world, because that experience is the result of the realization of a purpose in one's life. And your purpose was to facilitate the creation of the world you exist within, and their purpose was to lay the groundwork of that world. Nothing can change that purpose, and for you to try and otherwise would only be to unmake the world. Maybe, sometimes, the world deserves to be unmade. So I'm gonna ask you one more time. Are you expecting someone? Yes, I have to choose. I can go back. And skip blah blah blah, conversations. Scratch, so last time I'm gonna hear what he has to say. You sit up back on the couch and look up at Scratch, and you wonder why you're even bothering to do this in the first place. Wasn't Scratch a bad guy?
Please, your view of good and bad is so incredibly simplistic. If you think that everything reduces down to the binary of virtuous or villainous, then I have some terrible news about the real world for you. In any case, I'm no monster. I simply aim to provide a much-needed education in the way that things work around here.
Does that make sense? I mean, he hasn't exactly been anything other than polite and reasonable so far. Maybe you're just remembering things wrong. All the evidence to the contrary. Maybe you just... it's a big misunderstanding.
You could say that, if you like. But, you see, there's so much to consider. Have you given any thought to what would happen if you were to simply pull these critical pieces off the board at such an important point in history, when they still have such a role to play?
Turns out you see a small apartment with your tiny closet. In the closet, there's a crate. For some reason, you think of one of your other friends. One who's already
Have
shattered.
you really stopped to think about it? How the removal of a single key piece could put the entire game into jeopardy.
Mountain swamped by blood, the sour smell of rust in the air, the sound of joins winds low over the crowd, then the rattling roar of the guns as they open fire again, the screaming one
It
star.
doesn't matter if it's the lowliest pawn. All of the pieces have their own unique role to take on the board. To deny that is, well, my dear reader, it is simply foolish on a scale that mere words fail to describe.
Lone figure tends to the cabins, long after all the others have faded into the mist of time, long after everyone she once knew or cared about has passed on from the world. She can barely remember who she is, but she knows that her duty isn't yet complete.
Do you see what I mean? There are other worlds than these, dear reader, and you simply exist in one of them, a cul-de-sac at the terminal end of time, cut off from everything and everyone of any meaning.
Shake your head as if they're clear it out. The words of your that Scratch said keeps ringing around inside, digging deep into your consciousness and picking, finding their purchase and burrowing in deep.
Well,
What? You're sorry you lost some thought or memory?
not of anything that's happened to you, but perhaps in another world, given the right circumstances.
do have to admit that you don't really know very much about all these alternative timelines work. Just thinking enough before you got all these crazy First Guardian space-time powers. Now, as a downright headache to... thought maybe the job would come with some kind of instruction manual, but...
Not to worry, dear reader. You can still reverse the course you've begun to chart. It's simple. Go home. Yes, of course. Go back to your cozy little locked timeline, tucked far away from all of this. Retreat to your domicile and leave this world to carry forward on its course.
Locked timeline?
Yes, I hope my implication is clear. I am implying that it is possible that the events here are in fact necessary to close the loop of causality.
Well, you suppose you can't argue with that.
Excellent. You see, you're not an entirely unreasonable person. Now run along, back to your home.
I don't feel good about this. Something about it seems
Don't
wrong.
worry about a thing. After all, they're in quite capable hands.
You're not so good at swallowing your feelings, your own sense of right and wrong. What's one more time? What's one more chance to take away the easy weight, right? It's better this way. Which I actually kind of... Everyone... yeah, I gotta make sure I dodge everything. I want to make sure that I get the... okay, talk to him, salvation. Ah, okay, menu. I wanted to see what the... I wanted to see what his thing was. Oh crap. Oh, that. So that's what happens when you hit you. So the crowbar clips you in the arm and you feel go limp almost instantly. The feeling is indescribable pain, a shooting sensation that runs all the way up your arm into your chest. You never had a heart attack before, but you think this is probably what one of those feels like. You stumble back, landing on the couch again. Try one final time to zap away, but you feel like all the energy's been sipped out of you.
I am truly sorry about this, dear reader. I enjoyed your company, to an extent.
Raises the crowbar above his head.
Sadly, I must insist that you be on your way now. The hour's late, and I have much to attend to.
No, the fabric on this dress is actually... And then he cuts you off. Hanzo will see you now. Honestly, I wasn't expecting you back so soon. Can you hear the silver space sigh as you nod to you? Look, you weren't expecting a quit time event, okay? Okay, that's fair. Fine, one more try then.
If you'll just hold still, this will be over.
Yeah, you know.
You are becoming
Yeah, and then... Damn it, okay, well, I'll... Yeah, then... One of those things that I will have to... So... It's this one. Stick it to the
You
man.
fool. You completely irrational, pandering fool. Do you have...
This is the same stuff. Okay, so that response is exactly the same. Well, at least you aren't dead.
You have got to be kidding. This is some kind of sick joke, right?
Is it different?
Pretty sure I asked you to leave, so why aren't you leaving yet?
Honestly, you love to leave. You have loved nothing more than to be on your way and forget that you made a mistake of coming back here in the first place. Fortunately, it seems like you've kind of committed yourself at this point. No big deal, right? You laugh nervously.
Right. No big deal. Except it's kind of a big fucking deal. You do realize it's been 2 sweeps since anyone's heard anything from you, right? A lot of shit's been happening in that time. To all of us. Also, I hope you didn't think I wasn't gonna ask how you just kind of appeared in here.
Well, you see, the thing about that is, You've been through a lot yourself. That's the short version. There's eyes you skeptically, but you plow right on through. You're sure if she's still in that whole revolution thing or not, but you've been giving a lot of thought in the last couple hours, and maybe she was onto something with that. Maybe she might be interested in hearing a little bit more about that, actually. She doesn't say anything, but she doesn't stop you either. Nice, you can work with this. You think that Altaria is actually pretty bad. Like, the whole emo imperial power structure really kind of sucks, right?
That's a bit of an understatement.
Right, so what if you could just help Tuzia do something about it? Maybe not bring it down exactly, that seems like a lot, but help weaken it, set some fires or something, misfile some paperwork, really stick to the man.
Okay, fine. Why don't you start by explaining how you even got here?
Prologue, how time passes. So this is going to be similar to the other one, believe. Is they hear it to the people? Okay, so just literally just like blah blah blah. Yes, I want to save my progress. We got 2 endings. Into the menu. And then there's one more thing of. No, wait, fuck this shit. And then is this. Okay, yeah, this is just a choice. Blah 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 blah, and then I can just. Main menu. Yeah. So that's basically it for the prologue. So what are the where is the yeah, the story beats. So divergent timelines, are you sure this that's interesting. I guess each one has the different hidden achievements. I wonder how to get the divergent timeline achievement. I'm actually gonna look that up. I'm actually kind of curious, so I can show you guys. Let's see here. Just a second to load up on my screen. Because obviously you guys can't see it, but you reset the game's persistent. Oh. Options. I don't want to do that. I want to do options. No. So this is definitely a secret achievement that's... Yeah, so this is definitely something I'm going to be doing after I get everything done. Just because... Definitely something else. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives. And may the stars forever guide your path, forever might lead you into the future. Bye-bye, everybody.